1968 Blackflower Drive is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to a Prisons Break production of 1968 Blackflower Drive, Episode 8, Leaving. A discolored van with Florida plates and "Ha Ha" spray painted on its side zooms recklessly up the highway, randomly swerving and stopping short, then accelerating. Inside are 6 tattooed, hardened criminals that are drunk and high on something. Knox, the driver, has an intense look on his face, but a glint of a juvenile trickster in his eye. The gang in the back giggle maniacally while tossing around a loaded revolver.
Hot potato.
Hey, boss, can we get some music back here?
Radio's busted. Ost and Volca. Who's holding the potato?
I am.
Okay, you know what to do. Strellian!
A muscular man in a tutu looks into a camera mounted on the dashboard of the van. He smiles, points the revolver to his head, and...
Seriously, well done, Disco Kid. Keep playing.
Hot potato.
Knox turns to his passenger, the softest of the bunch, sitting shotgun, a large duffel bag at his feet. He points to the camera mounted on the dashboard.
Jermaine, you sure this thing is streaming out live?
All the way to Mars.
Good. What was the take from the warehouse?
We got 13 GoPros, 9 sidearms, 7 long guns, a ridiculous amount of knives, and a single grenade. Plus, a decent stock of loaded clips.
And the helmet.
Shut up, Danger!
Hot potato.
Danger, a man with a mohawk and missing teeth, hurls the loaded revolver at Knox. With surprisingly cat-like reflexes, Knox catches the potato with ease. Then Knox points the gun into the back of the van. The gang scrambles while Knox jerks the wheel to and fro. Then he pulls the trigger.
Seriously, fun is fun, but we got a job to do. If this thing goes viral, we will be set for life. That's what Jermaine says, and Jermaine is the smartest man I know. Except for the fact that he steals panties and got sent to prison for embezzlement.
I'm only guilty of one of those charges.
Okay, seriously, we take this house, we got it made in the shade. So grab a camera, grab a gun and a rifle, I'll take the grenade. Fuck the helmet. Play the camera, but don't make it a thing, focus on the ghosts or the whatever they are. Seriously, you feel me?
We feel you, Knox.
Who's up? Hot potato!
Hot potato.
Austin Volca! I got it! Danger! Strellian!
Danger leans into the dashboard camera, nervously puts the gun close to his head, and pulls the trigger.
How do you feel, Danger? Like a ghost?
I feel alive and confused.
Well, what's in the gun is inside your head. Blanks. You really think I want you all to play Russian roulette for real?
Don't you mean Russian roulette?
Stove man, we're in a van speeding on a highway, tossing a gun around. Russian roulette. Ooh.
You might be too high. Or not high enough.
I'll take the latter.
Are you stupid or making a pun?
I can't hear out of my left ear.
We're here.
The van has arrived at 1968 Blackflower Drive. The house awaits like a bear trap as the sun recedes behind the horizon.
Looks like they got low security, so this should be easy. Gang, get ready to be rich, famous, and cocky. Look at us.
Back to the morning after the darkest night. Detective Tracy Bricks squints at the rising sun as 2 black helicopters land nearby the house at 1968 Blackflower Drive. The helicopters deposit field agents with earpieces and submachine guns. They scan the area.
Hello? I'm the officer in charge here. Someone want to tell me what's going on?
The field agents ignore him. A Blackflower police cruiser arrives and Gil exits into his wheelchair, assisted by Jody.
Where's Sheriff Milieu?
I'm Detective Tracy Bricks of the State Police. Who am I speaking to?
I know who you are.
Oh. Hi, Gil. You missed Jackie.
Where is she?
Either in the ambulance headed towards the city hospital or already there.
Okay, what exactly happened here?
I've got everything under control here, Gil.
You've got 2 dead over there. Another one on the porch, and that poor soul is in hysterics. All these your men?
One of them deserted.
Are any currently inside?
I have everything under control.
How exactly do you have the situation under control, Detective? Are any of your men currently inside?
All my men are outside and secured.
Secured by being dead, deserting, or deranged?
Oh, I get it. This is about me dating your sister.
Honestly, part of it. But mostly because you're an incompetent bully who's probably corrupt. You're a coward who needs to be taught a lesson.
I am offended by the accusation that after years of service
Good.
to this
Good.
law enforcement agency...
Good! Now shut up! Okay, I want this place quarantined. No one goes in, no one comes out until Sheriff Milieu returns. It is officially a federal crime scene.
At the St. Ascalia Hospital, Perry, with a bandaged face, stares at Cheryl B's partially skeletonized body. He reaches out, touches her cheek, and concentrates. Miraculously, her bony cheek begins to revert to flesh, which enthralls Perry.
Mr. Morbus?
Perry is startled out of his trance. He turns to see Dr. Green.
Hey, Doc.
You know it's past visiting hours.
It's 6 already?
Actually, it's 7. She mean a lot to you?
I barely know her. But I believe she knows where my daughter is.
You should be in bed resting.
I know.
You should also know you're not making it easy for the nurses.
I know. And I apologize. It's just...
You're just...
I've lost my wife. My daughter. My family. My life's a shambles, but this one here, she gives me hope. She's a survivor.
She is. I'll tell you what. I've got 2 more patients to check on. It'll take about 20 minutes, and then I'll come back here, and you will not be here when I return, but back in your room resting. Understood?
Thank you, Dr. Green.
And for what it's worth, I think you're a survivor too, Mr. Morbus.
Yeah.
Dr. Green leaves. Perry checks back with Cheryl B., but she has returned to her previous condition. He resumes his concentration and lays his hands on Cheryl B. A few days pass. At Jupiter Enterprises, in the lobby of Mr. Gaines's office, Ms. Circle approaches the door and snaps her head to a terrified secretary.
Do I need to actually buzz in, or can the door just be open?
I don't control it.
What use are you?
I'm here until Mr. Gaines tells me I can go home.
Useless. Forget it.
Ms. Circle pushes a button by the door and grimaces into a camera. The door buzzes and she walks in.
As vice president of this company, when am I afforded the right to walk through this door without the vague bureaucratic process of buzzing myself in like a fucking janitor?
You've been saying that for many months now.
Have I?
Think fast.
He throws something at her and she dodges it.
What the fuck was that?
You were supposed to catch it.
He points to the item on the floor. Ms. Circle suspiciously picks it up. It's a small device with a single button.
What is this?
Peace offering. A symbol of trust. A totem for the future.
Enough with the fancy. What is it?
Simply put, it's a door opener. You never have to buzz in again. It's an unusual look for you, Miss Circle.
What?
A woman without words. You're welcome. You are welcome. No, seriously, just... Now, take a look at this.
He whips away a covering on a table to reveal an elaborate miniature replica of a potential future town of Blackflower, complete with large factory buildings. It is an impressive sight, but there is something oppressive and domineering to the presentation.
What is this?
The future of Blackflower. You see, once we open up the dam in Northfolk and divert a portion of the runoff to replenish the Fluss River, the factories will have all they need.
I thought we decided on 4 factories.
I think 3 will suffice.
This building here will be a problem.
That's our main factory. We need that.
I figured, and that's why it's a problem.
Why?
There's a property there that's going to be contested for ownership.
By whom?
The government.
Why?
Remember the weird shit that's been going on at the Trayton House?
So?
That's there.
And?
Deaths of several state police officers warrant a federal curiosity.
Well, we can build around it.
Sir, they could turn the entire town into an army base.
Mr. Gaines, enraged, charges and pummels his punching bag. He punches the bag so hard it starts leaking sand. Ms. Circle is surprised by his strength.
Sir, I have a solution.
What? We're gonna take on the U.S. government?
There's a retired judge in Blackflower. If you call some of your friends in the city court circuit, I bet you can get someone of your choosing to preside over the case.
You have someone in mind?
I do.
And you believe this judge will be sympathetic to our plight?
I do.
He punches the shrinking bag in victory.
Oh, suck it!
Jackie drives up to the Blackflower house in her cruiser. Gil awaits, bundled up against the morning chill in his wheelchair on the porch. Jackie gets out and goes to him.
Jack?
Gil?
Jackie stares at Gil, but Gil is focused on something on the street.
What's the situation?
It's a bloodbath in there.
How many bodies?
It's more like remains. What do you make of that van over there?
Gil points to a discolored van with "Ha Ha" spray painted on its side.
What about it?
Is it local?
Doubtful. No license plates, and I haven't seen graffiti around here since our drug problem. It's probably from the city.
Gil nods, offers up some latex gloves and camphor. Jackie applies the camphor and starts to put on the gloves as she heads toward the van.
No, here in the house.
What are you, crazy?
You have to.
I'm not going in there.
You have to.
Why?
With my chair, I'll contaminate the scene.
Can't you get one of your men to do this?
I'm down to one man who's sleeping so he can take the night shift.
Why? What happened?
My team was rescinded. Apparently my sway with the FBI is temperamental. But don't worry about going in there. The house is dormant. Now. Safe. From sunup to sundown, nothing happens. Maybe some vertigo or nausea or your ears pop, but otherwise, you're safe.
How many men did it take to learn that?
2 field agents. 5 scientists.
How many survived? Jesus, Gil. It's not even been 2 weeks.
I know.
I warned you.
I know.
Why didn't you call me?
I'm calling you now.
But you called Perry Morbus.
I did. He was an eyewitness.
So was I.
How do you know about Perry Morbus? Are you with him?
It's complicated.
Uh-huh. Look, sis, I need your help on this. Please. This is so bad.
Jackie takes a moment to connect with Gil, then looks upon the Blackflower house and shakes her head. Then she heads in. Jackie enters and stops short, slack-jawed. There are body parts, organs, and blood splattered about the house. Jackie yawns big to pop her ears. At ATC faculties in the city, several computer technicians are sitting at their desks dealing with customers via phone line headsets and computer consoles. Tabitha is among them, wearing a thick scarf. Farshad overlooks his employees and Tabitha raises her hand. He goes to her.
How can I be of assistance, Mrs. Potterson?
Mrs. Potterson. That's my mother's name.
I'm just trying to adhere to your request to maintain a professional relationship in the workplace.
That's fair.
What's the problem?
The problem is my cursor keeps disappearing. See?
She demonstrates. He presses 3 keys simultaneously. The cursor reappears.
How did you do that? What did you do?
If I told you all my secrets, you'd never call for me.
Tabitha coyly smiles and her scarf droops, revealing several bruises on her neck.
You should cover that up.
Tabitha quickly adjusts her scarf.
Thank you.
Dinner tonight, 7?
I'd like that.
And maybe I'll share some of my cursory secrets.
He smiles and she smiles back. But once Farshad leaves, Tabitha's smile vanishes. Gil patiently waits in his wheelchair, rubbing his hands, watching the front door at the Blackflower house. Finally, Jackie exits, visibly shaken. She rips off her latex gloves and drops them.
Don't ever ask me to do that again.
Sorry, sis. Had to be done. What do you got?
You got a cig?
No. I thought you quit.
Yeah, I did. That's why I don't have any. God, this damned ear popping never gets old. Oh, okay. Okay. There are the body parts of 4 to 6 men, roughly 25 to 45 years of age. Some are white, some are black. God, Jesus, it's a mess in there. Besides the gore, there were a few guns, a bunch of knives, and a helmet, plus a tutu.
A tutu?
Yeah, it was pretty stretched out, though, not for a ballet dancer or kid.
Any idea what happened?
Looks like a big fight. Maybe they could have done it to each other, but something, walked away from this.
The skeletonized figure.
That's my guess.
Anything else about the victims?
I think they're ex-cons.
How so?
I saw some prison tattoos.
Like what?
I took pictures.
She pulls out her cell phone and hands it to Gil. He briefly scans the photos, hands it back, and thinks hard.
What?
He holds up a finger and closes his eyes. Jackie looks at the pictures again.
Moore Haven Correctional Facility.
How? What?
I know the artist who did these tattoos. He's doing a life sentence there.
What does this mean?
It means the men in there are from out of state.
Which makes this a federal case.
In St. Ascalia Hospital, Perry, bandages removed with stitches remaining, sits bedside with Cheryl B., unconscious. Nurse Hollows checks in.
You know, you're not supposed to be in here right now, right?
I know.
I've been telling you this for a few weeks now. You should know better.
Perry agrees and his phone rings. It's Jackie in her police cruiser. He gets up, gestures that the room is all Nurse Hollows now, and goes into the hallway.
Hello?
Where are you?
I'm at St. Ascalia's.
Again?
What's up?
Well, I was gonna ask you to breakfast, but you're in the city.
Yep.
How's she doing?
The same.
I'm sorry.
Me too. What's up?
Well, you know how Gil is taking Jupiter Enterprises to court regarding the ownership of the Black House?
The Black House?
That's what they're calling it.
Okay.
You'll never guess who's presiding over the case.
At Mrs. Potterson's house, Mr. Nail sits at the dining room table joined by another lawyer, Mr. Sheet. He is slick, weaselly, and unpleasant.
I'm sorry. My memory escapes me. What did you two want in your tea?
I didn't want tea.
Who said that?
Mr. Sheet.
Oh, you're a coffee man.
Now, I'm fine. I brought my own.
Oh, that's right.
I'll take a splash of cream and 1 sugar, please.
Well, that sounds right. I remember that.
Mr. Nail grins at Mr. Sheet, who rolls his eyes and checks his watch. Mrs. Potterson enters with a tray of 3 teacups and a plate of cookies.
Well, now, these cookies may be a bit underdone. I didn't want to burn them. I've had a time with the microwave lately.
Mr. Nail takes his tea and a cookie. The cookie is underdone, but Mr. Nail masks his displeasure.
Delicious.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you.
Well, can we continue.
Of course we may. First of all, I'd like to apologize that we're not in a courtroom. Unfortunately, ours burned down years ago. Still waiting on the funding for a new one, Mr. Sheet. So, until we can convert the movie theater into a proper courtroom, we are forced to convene the preliminary proceedings.
With
Here.
all due respect, Your Honor, I move for a change of venue and ask that you recuse yourself.
These cookies.
Without hearing my guidelines? You barely know me, Mr. Sheet.
I know that you haven't sat on the bench in over 10 years. I know that you got assigned to this case with the assistance of a friend from the city with curious ties. I'm not saying Mr. Nail is linked, but I wouldn't rule it out. And I know any juror picked locally would be biased. I am understanding of your situation, but unfortunately you and this town are ill-equipped to try this case.
Perry and Jackie continue their phone conversation.
I really like her, but why would they agree to this?
Jupiter Enterprises CEO is Nathaniel Gaines. He thinks she'll side with him.
Why?
He's rich, powerful, and he was born here.
And he's a egomaniacal multimillionaire. Sorry, billionaire.
That too. The narcissism helps. He thinks he can't lose.
And why the government? Can't they just claim the property? It's a natural disaster.
Again, Nathaniel Gaines is rich and powerful, and he knows people. He's gumming up the works. I suspect the government wants to keep this quiet and believes they can just overwhelm Mrs. Potterson. Bully her. Yeah, that's my thinking.
Oh, they're both gonna lose.
Mrs. Potterson, Mr. Nail, and Mr. Sheet continue their proceedings.
Firstly, it's true. I haven't decided on a case in 10.5 years, but I have been active in judicial chat rooms with judges around the nation deliberating current and controversial rulings. My daughter's boyfriend, who is an Arabic, set it all up on my computer. I'm in the know more than you think. And as to your concerns regarding a biased jury, that won't happen because there's not going to be a jury. Just a simple bench trial, the three of us hashing this out.
Your Honor, I just think that there's no way that this
Mr.
can
Sheet, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and if you still want to make a stink afterwards, so be it. But allow me the honor of voicing my guidelines.
Mr. Sheet holds his tongue like a scolded child while Mr. Nail reaches for another cookie.
Your Honor, these cookies are divine.
Oh, thank you. But just so you know, Mr. Nail, no one likes a brown noser.
Mr. Sheet barely stifles a laugh and Mr. Nail chokes on his cookie.
Order! Order! Order!
Mrs. Potterson bangs her gavel hard. The two are silent, but the gavel is broken.
Now that we're all sorted out, here's how we're gonna play this. Just because we're in a compromised condition, it doesn't mean we cannot abide by common courtesy. I will listen to all ideas, as long as they are thoroughly thought through and respectful. I will not tolerate any impiety between you two or me. Manners make the man. We may be in my home or converted movie theater, but I expect reverence for procedure and the law always. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. Now, I've read your briefs and I've concluded on these conditions. The burden of this case is on the prosecution. Mr. Nail, you must first prove that Jupiter Enterprises is, in fact, the sole owner of the property at 1968 Blackflower Drive. You understand that?
I do, and we can prove it.
We'll see. Secondly, you have to convince me that the property at 1968 Blackflower Drive is, in fact, not a national hazard. You understand?
I do.
Furthermore, the property at 1968 Blackflower Drive will be known from here on out as the Black House. It's simpler and has a nice ring to it. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. Now, Mr. Sheet, you have a motion?
Now, after hearing your wise conditions on this case, I do not believe I have a motion at this time. I will, instead, rely on your good judgment.
Mr. Sheet grabs a cookie and takes a bite. It's terrible.
And you are right, Mr. Nail. Delicious.
You bet they are.
Perry and Jackie are still on the phone. Jackie in her cruiser and Perry in the hospital hallway, but something catches Perry's eye. A gurney shrouded in plastic with biohazard warning labels is wheeled out of a room and down the hall. It is escorted by a number of doctors and armed men.
Hey, you still there?
One of the doctors, Dr. Richard Fields, catches Perry staring.
Can I help you?
Just here for a friend.
Dr. Richard Fields talks to one of the armed men who then walks towards Perry.
Hey, what's going on?
Do we have a problem here?
No problem. Just visiting a friend.
Is your friend in the hallway?
Nope. My friend is in a room here.
I suggest you go to that room.
I will.
Now.
And who are you?
The armed man grabs Perry's wrist and twists it.
You can leave this hospital now, or you can be a patient here. Got it?
Oh, I do. It's a corny line, but I like it.
Enraged, the armed man bends Perry's wrist to the point of breaking, and then he suddenly freezes. Everyone in the hallway is still, except Perry, who struggles to escape the armed man's grip. Once freed, while everyone is still frozen, Perry walks away. When he is out of sight of the armed man, Perry returns everything back to normal time. Everyone resumes what they were doing as if nothing happened. Only the armed man looks around, baffled. Tabitha unlocks the door of Farshad's apartment and enters the darkened entryway. She sets down her purse and sees that someone is sitting in the dark.
Farshad?
A spark of fire lights a candle on the table. Tabitha, scared, reaches for her purse.
Who's there?
Close your eyes. Trust me.
Relieved, but unsure, she closes her eyes, takes Farshad's hand, and follows him into the bedroom. The room has incense and candles burning.
Open your eyes.
Tabitha opens her eyes and discovers a new, lavish, plush bed in the center of the room. The bed of nails is propped up against the wall.
But...
Shh. Tabby, I've seen your bruises and I blame myself. Sometimes I don't know my own strength and passion. Or I forget that you are a beautiful but delicate flower.
I'm okay.
I want you to be better than okay.
She smiles, and he gently leads her to their new bed while kissing her softly. Ms. Circle and Mr. Nail enter the conference room of Jupiter Enterprises. She flips some switches, and she lights a cigarette.
Fill me in.
Well, we won the first part. The document and the video were very effective.
Flash to Mrs. Potterson's dining room. She, Mr. Sheet, and Mr. Nail watch on a video monitor as Side Chick speaks.
So that's it. I'm not sure what exact trouble I'm in, but I hope this evidence will release me of my persecution. And until I am guaranteed safety in civilian life, I will remain off the grid.
The screen goes to static.
Your Honor, if I can't cross-examine this witness, her testimony should be thrown out.
I'll be the judge of that.
Furthermore, the document she presents was stolen by this witness and therefore subject to evidence tampering. This deed of Philip Trayton III could be a forgery. And what exactly is the expertise of this witness? Not to mention, she's obviously being coerced, if not outright threatened.
Back to the conference room at Jupiter Enterprises. Ms. Circle lets out a puff of smoke.
I thought we had the deed.
We have the will. That was disguised as adoption papers. We also needed the deed. Your guy was supposed to get both.
So we lost.
No, she deemed the will credible.
So we won. We control the property.
No, not yet.
Jesus Christ, William. What the fuck is going on? I'm getting whiplash here. I want an update, not a play-by-play.
Ms. Circle, this is a complicated case. And it is not eased by the current condition of this court.
Where are we at?
Well, we won the first condition of proving we rightfully own the house. But the second condition is problematic, proving that the house is not a national threat.
Don't they have to prove that it is a national threat?
No, and the evidence is compelling. And they have a witness.
Mrs. Patterson watches as Mr. Sheet questions Xander Mars, a heavily tattooed man whom has witnessed some rough times but has a certain ease about him. A prison guard stands close by. Mr. Nail looks uneasy.
Yeah, I knew those guys. Knox, Germain, Disco Kid, Britton, Stovey, even Danger. They were a crew, and they were Florida-based.
But they only found remains of people in the Black House. Limbs, organs, chunks of flesh and skin. How can you definitively identify who they are?
Your Honor, I must remind the court that all of the blood and fingerprints that were collected at the scene were deemed unidentifiable.
I believe the labs in your own city analyzed these samples, which reeks of bias.
We gave your team those same samples, and your labs came to the same conclusion as ours.
Of course, after you'd already corrupted them.
Mrs. Patterson picks up a meat tenderizer and slams it down on the table, shocking Mr. Nail and Mr. Sheet into silence. Even Xander gives her a look.
Hush! We've already established the blood and fingerprint evidence has been corrupted and unusable, either before or after the initial examination by the city labs. Mr. Sheet has a novel way of identifying the victims here, Mr. Nail. Let's not block the flow of information. Please, continue, Mr. Mars.
Okay. Where was I?
How can you identify these men?
Oh, right. Well, besides the overall artistry that is easily recognizable as mine, take a look at this tat. See the XM in the fold? Those are my initials, Xander Mars, and you'll see those two letters in all my work.
Ms. Circle blows smoke directly in Mr. Nail's face.
What the fuck does this have to do with anything?
It shows that the dead people found in the Black House are from out of state. Out of state implies...
National threat.
Precisely.
Shit, what else do they have?
They were thrill seekers. They loved those jackass movies. They thought they could make some money from filming inside the house.
And how do you know this?
Well, I have a video file that shows how they died in the house.
Objection.
Shut up. Can we see it?
You sure you want to, Your Honor? It's pretty grisly.
Your Honor, how could he possibly have gotten this video file? It's obviously a fake.
Yeah, I assure you it's real, and there's a time and date code embedded in the file.
I'd like to see it.
I have it in a secure location. I'll bring it tomorrow.
Then we'll discuss its authenticity tomorrow. Court adjourned.
Mrs. Patterson raises her meat tenderizer, and as it comes down, it matches with Ms. Circle throwing a glass ashtray across the room.
Ugh, fuck! Have you seen this video?
No.
We can't let that video file out.
You think it's real?
We have to... How the fuck did they get it? We have to discredit this witness and get that video.
I agree.
Fuck!
I agree.
I'll get my guy on it.
During the day at St. Ascalia Hospital, Lee, wearing his street clothes and sunglasses, refreshed but with a distant look on his face, saunters down the hallway. He approaches Mo, depressed, wearing a hospital gown, a bandage over her arm and pushing an IV stand. She sees him and stops.
Hey.
Hey.
Lee continues walking past her.
Hey.
What?
Lee stops. She lifts up her bandaged but mutilated hand.
Do you want to say something about this?
What? You left us. Your choice. Curly's dead. Larry's dead. That girl? Violet. She's gone. Probably dead. You lost a hand. Welcome to the world.
Where's Sidechick?
Why?
Where is she?
I don't know. In the city, somewhere maybe? She never came back. Just like you. I'm done with you all. Team Iris is dead. Goodbye, and good riddance.
Lee walks away. Mo, overwhelmed, tries to remain standing. Xander Mars sits in a cheap hotel room at a crappy table with a fast food feast before him. Double cheeseburger, curly fries, onion rings, and 2 chocolate shakes. Although the circumstances are bleak, Xander is thankful for his dinner. He closes his eyes in prayer.
Dear Holy Trinity, I know I've strayed so many times from the path of the righteous, but I am trying to make good. I believe you are rewarding my efforts by providing me with this soft bed and a decent meal. And I thank thee. Tomorrow will be a good day, a decent day, and I will abide by your eternal wisdom of light versus dark. I treasure every day I'm alive, thanks to you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
He starts chowing down. First fries, then rings, when a thump happens outside his door.
What?
Then another. Xander looks to his silverware. He only has a plastic spork. The door unlocks and opens. The nondescript figure enters. The nondescript figure points a stun gun, and Xander raises his hands. The nondescript figure pulls out an electronic device and presses a button on it.
I think you know why we're here. Give us the file.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Oh, you can die here tonight. Or you can die in prison years from now. Which do you prefer? A painful tonight or a peaceful tomorrow?
Xander rummages through his stuff and retrieves the thumb drive. He hands it to the nondescript figure who looks at it.
And the backup?
Xander briefly considers his options and then pulls out a thumb drive from his underwear and offers it up.
There it is.
Thank you. I appreciate your succinctness. Now, tomorrow you will admit to perjury and say that Mr. Sheet implied that you should lie.
Yeah, This is wrong.
A painful tonight or a peaceful tomorrow? Or you could just leave.
The nondescript figure motions to the door and lowers the stun gun. Xander thinks hard on his future. At St. Ascalia Hospital, Dr. Richard Fields, Dr. Linus Cogg, and Dr. Green stand over a comatose Cheryl B. and discuss her future.
What I'm saying is that her condition is terminal.
I've done a little research on this, and it says that her condition has a 30% survival rate to age 60.
Dr. Green, those statistics...
No, I've got this. Dr. Green, those statistics are true, but only if the patient is in the optimal conditions. Unfortunately, ours is not. She is young, but in a coma, and the disease's aggressive progression is uncharted.
But we've seen her have relapses, organs retaining, even returning to their natural state.
I've only witnessed one other patient with this severe case, Larry Feinstein, and we know how that ended up.
Such a sad day for this hospital.
Personally, I don't know what actually happened to Larry. One day he was here, the next he was gone.
Dr. Green, you are here as a courtesy,
I can handle this, Dr. Cogg. Dr. Green, you are here as a courtesy. I suggest you listen and learn versus spout and pout.
What do you suggest we do, Dr. Fields?
I suggest we learn as much as we can from patient Cheryl Lincoln. She has no living relatives, no one to claim medical directives?
No brothers or sisters or children. Her parents are dead. Her grandmother's in the psychiatric ward.
Fantastic. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to take her to my private hospital and do some tests on her.
Will it save her?
Nothing can save her, Dr. Green, but we can learn from her and potentially cure others of this disease.
I'd like to be involved.
Actually...
Sure. We'll keep you informed.
Great. That's great. Thank you, Dr. Fields. When will you transport her?
The earliest? Next week. Friday.
We'll be ready.
They walk out of the room and down the hallway. As they exit, Dr. Green notices Perry leaning against the wall outside of Cheryl B.'s room. He nods to Dr. Green, but there is something strained about his demeanor. Reluctantly, Dr. Green nods back. Did Perry hear their conversation? Mrs. Potterson, Mr. Nail, and Mr. Sheet are all playing the board game Sorry in Mrs. Potterson's living room.
Nurse. Oh, okay. Okay. Whose turn is it?
Mrs. Potterson, we got here at 8 a.m. It is now 4 p.m.
Oh.
We've been waiting 8 hours for this witness. I suggest a bench warrant.
Objection.
Oh, lighten up, Duke.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Potterson, but this has been going on
No
long.
pun intended. Where is Mr. Xander Mars?
Yeah, it's Xander Mars. That's me, as luck would have it. I need to take this.
By all means. Well, I think it's your turn, Mr. Nail.
Mr. Sheet exits to the backyard and paces. He talks with Field Agent Ryan, who was in the back alley of a strip mall. In the background is an open dumpster and 2 field agents being treated on a medic truck.
Tell me you found them.
We found the field agents.
And Xander Mars?
Negative.
Where is he? What happened?
Late at night in Perry's bedroom, Perry and Jackie are making love. The sounds of the ocean play in Perry's head.
Look at me. Perry, look at me. Perry, where are you?
Perry hears screams and he violently retreats from Jackie.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. I think I'm haunted. Are you expecting someone?
Are you serious? This is your house.
Right. I guess I just thought since you're sheriff...
That they know I'd be here?
I don't know what's happening.
Were you expecting someone?
No.
Go check the door. We'll talk after.
Jackie puts on a robe and grabs her gun. Perry cautiously approaches the front door. He looks back at Jackie, who aims her gun and flashes him a look. Perry opens the door.
Greetings, Perry. I know it's late. I apologize. I need a favor. I brought some iced tea and wine and... Oh, Jackie, hello. I didn't know you had company, Perry, and...
Mrs. Potterson notices that Jackie is wearing a robe and nothing else.
Oh, my.
Back at Mrs. Potterson's court, Mr. Sheet has returned from his phone call and is in a discussion with Mrs. Potterson and Mr. Nail.
All I'm asking for is a continuance, enough time to explore the cause of this interference with my witness.
Mrs. Potterson, the defendant is clearly inferring that we had something to do with his witness's disappearance.
I would call it obstruction.
I'd call it incompetence.
Well, if the shoe fits...
Your Honor!
Ugh. I need to think on this. We will reconvene tomorrow.
Later that night at Perry's house, Mrs. Potterson sits in a chair talking to Perry and Jackie, sipping wine and whiskey. The iced tea is untouched.
A slaughterhouse of body parts, a missing witness, circumstantial evidence, 2 irate immature lawyers, several questionable motives. I am not sure what to do.
I'm sure you have some thoughts.
I do, but I want to hear yours.
Jackie?
I'm not sure. I'd be objective here. My brother's with the defendant. If this is even... Is this even legal, you talking to us?
I think we might be beyond legal thinking here, my dear. You've seen what this black house can do, haven't you?
Uh-huh.
What would you recommend?
Of these lawyers, who do you trust?
Neither. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, I'm going to side with Gil. The government may have a nefarious agenda, but I know Gil doesn't. I can't speak of any safeguards with the city's motives.
That makes sense. Perry?
What about a compromise?
Mrs. Potterson stands in front of Mr. Nail and Mr. Sheet, who have not touched a cookie from a platter between them.
A compromise. Jupiter Enterprises still remains the rightful owner, but the government is allowed to rent for experiments and safety precautions and such.
Who sets the price?
The owner.
Is there a cap?
Within reason.
Whose reason?
Let's say $1 million.
Dollars? For one house? In this location?
Would you rather it be $1 billion?
Your Honor, that is an amount that is absolutely
I don't
out
like
of range.
the idea of the government being able to grab any property they want for ambiguous reasons.
Your Honor, we have shown that this is a dangerous area of national status, and we need to put guardrails up to...
you haven't. I'm not convinced of Mr. Mars's testimony, and he's gone now, which is suspect on both sides, so it's a local issue as far as I'm concerned.
The prosecution accepts the court's rulings.
Thank you.
Hold on. Whether it is acknowledged or not, I'd like to clarify possessions of resources on the property.
Mineral rights, we've got this covered.
Your Honor, we will not be going underground for these resources. We believe that it is the right of...
Order! Possession of resources? Mineral rights? That's not what this hearing is about. We came here to decide ownership of property and national threat. I concede to the prosecution that Jupiter Enterprises owns the Black House. And although the government didn't prove there to be an undeniable national threat, I do agree there's cause for concern, hence the required rental of property. I also recognize that Jupiter Enterprises has been planning a major overhaul, if not revitalization, for the town of Blackflower that could amount to millions of dollars, hence the expensive cap for rent, Mr. Sheet. But if you choose to charge the maximum, Mr. Nail, I expect a detailed and reasonable budgetary explanation for such a high amount. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. Court adjourned. Now, who wants a cookie?
Both lawyers hurriedly pack up their things. At Jupiter Enterprises, in his office, Mr. Gaines is joined with a small group of architects, city planners, and urban planners. They are gathered around a new miniature display of Blackflower. The door buzzes and in walks Ms. Circle.
Miss Circle, come here. Feast your eyes on this.
He makes room for her as she closes in. The new replica of Blackflower is quite different than the previous one. There is only one small factory and the town has softened. It's welcoming and comforting now. Idyllic.
What is this?
This is the new future of Blackflower. See, we have a hospital and a school over here. Here's our fire department and a little courthouse.
Where are the factories?
Well, we decided against a factory town.
Without my consent?
Gentlemen, ma'am, would you excuse us for a moment, please? Leave the schematics.
The architects and planners hastily exit.
What's the plan here, Ethaniel?
The plan is to rebuild Blackflower.
With no job force?
There are plenty of jobs here. We got teachers and doctors, nurses, firemen, lawyers.
Who are the teachers going to teach? Are the doctors going to treat the nurses? The firemen putting out fires to empty homes? Lawyers suing themselves?
Everyone needs these services.
Right. But those are specialty jobs. Everyone can't be a fireman, doctor, or teacher. You need a population for those institutions. That's why we originally decided that building factories here first would develop a workforce population that would then have a need for hospitals and schools and a fucking courthouse. You're doing this ass backwards.
I can see that you're upset.
Damn right. I've worked hard on this.
I know.
No, you don't. You have no idea what I've done for you.
Maybe so. But I have a plan.
Yeah, I've heard it. It sucks.
Watch your mouth, Evine.
She fumes, but holds her tongue. Mr. Gaines overlooks the display of Blackflower.
I plan on refurbishing all the homes that I've bought and reselling them well below market price. This will build a populace.
The populace with no income.
We would also establish a low-interest loan department that would encourage new business ventures.
It would also bankrupt us.
Maybe so, but it's the right thing to do.
Not for this business.
Maybe so, but it's my business.
As vice president, I say no to this plan.
As president, I say yes.
You're going to kill Jupiter Enterprises!
You've been a viable asset to this company for many years now. I value all the hard work you've done in and out of the office, on and off the books. But if you don't like the job, you don't have to work here, Miss Circle. It's your call.
She breaks her gaze and eyes his punching bag.
Can I have a night to consider?
Take the week. I hope we can continue on good terms. Whichever way you decide.
He holds out his hand. She turns to leave, but stops.
Oh, by the way, we basically won the Black House case.
Well, that's a cause to celebrate.
There's a caveat.
Oh?
We are required to rent the Trayton house for a while to the government.
That's okay. We do own that house, though, don't we?
I do.
She smiles and walks out. In Cheryl B's room at St. Ascalia Hospital, Perry sits beside her. She's still in a coma and skeletonizing. Nurse Hollows peeks her head in.
I'm going on my lunch now. You want anything?
No, I'm fine.
Easy for you, easy for me.
She starts to leave.
Oh, wait, there's Hollows.
Hmm?
Why the change?
I'm sorry?
Before I was an intruder, and now it seems I'm a welcomed guest?
Well, before you were an annoyance and suspect. Now I see you have a kind heart and good intentions. I'll bring you a grandma's cookie. Chocolate chip?
Always a safe bet.
She gives him finger guns and exits. Perry watches her go, then eyes the heart monitor for Cheryl B. It reads 63. He closes his eyes and concentrates. He carefully switches the finger clamp off of Cheryl B onto his finger. Then he checks the heart monitor. 65, 64, 63. Perry touches the sides of Cheryl B's face.
Cheryl B?
What's happening?
Do you remember our last conversation?
I'm in trouble.
You're in danger. You have to find a way to the waking surface. If I take you now, without these machines, you'll die.
I'm trying. I don't see a way out. I don't see a light. I only see darkness.
We're running out of time. You have to fight.
I'm trying.
Jackie sits in her parked vehicle, frustrated, eyeing a half-eaten donut on her dashboard. She waits on her cell phone. Then...
Perry, where are you? I haven't seen you in 3 days. And if memory serves, it wasn't a great night. I'm trying not to be mad. Where were you last night? Where have you been? Where are you going? Where are we going with this? You said we would work through this. Together.
She looks out her car window, parked at Perry's house.
But you're not here.
Back at St. Ascalia Hospital, Perry, still holding Cheryl B's face, tries to remain calm and keep a lookout as he intensely talks to Cheryl B. Cheryl B drifts in and out of consciousness.
Cheryl B. Hey.
Don't call me that.
All right. Give me a name then. Something to call you that only you would know.
Rose.
She recedes into her coma. The heart monitor starts rising and Perry quickly switches the finger clamp back from his to hers.
What's up, Gil?
In the dead of night at Jupiter Enterprises, a security guard sits at the reception area, working on a crossword. At the desk are several security monitors showing various locations throughout the building.
3-letter word for horse meal. Grass? No, that's 4. Apples? No. Oats? Oat.
Suddenly, all the security monitors black out.
Hey!
The security guard realizes the clue and fills in the crossword.
Hey!
The outer door buzzes and opens. In walks the nondescript figure wearing a gas mask and carrying a duffel bag.
May I help you? How did you...
The nondescript figure doesn't answer, just keeps walking at a brisk pace towards the front desk.
Who are you?
The nondescript figure sprays him with a sleeping agent. The security guard immediately passes out. The nondescript figure approaches the elevators. Once inside the elevator, the nondescript figure pulls out a key and inserts it into the keypad, allowing access to the penthouse. Upon arrival to the top floor, the nondescript figure checks the time. then pulls out the device Mr. Gaines gave to Ms. Circle and presses the button. The door buzzes and the nondescript figure enters Mr. Gaines's office carrying the duffel bag. The room is dark, save for a spotlight above the punching bag, which is new, and the miniature model of future Blackflower. The nondescript figure drops the duffel bag and ventures further in, cautiously. The nondescript figure approaches the miniature model when, suddenly, the nondescript figure is tackled by Mr. Gaines. The nondescript figure tries to prick Mr. Gaines with its ring, but Mr. Gaines evades the attack. The nondescript figure presses a button on its left glove, and the duffel bag bursts open, emitting gas from a device.
Who are you? Miss Circle? Divine. What have you done?
Mr. Gaines starts wheezing and wincing in pain. He starts pummeling the nondescript figure, especially the right shoulder. His blows slow down as the gas takes effect, and he eventually collapses in lethal gasps. The nondescript figure shoves off Mr. Gaines and, in great pain, stands up and checks the time. The nondescript figure searches for the pulse of Mr. Gaines. Then, with a disjointed right shoulder, packs up the duffel bag and carries it out of the office. The nondescript figure descends down the elevator, through the lobby, out the front door, into a car. All this done only using the left hand, since the right arm is useless. In a car, the nondescript figure considers for a moment, then pulls out a cell phone, dials Ms. Circle, and puts the vocal device to the phone.
The task is done, and so are we. Lose my number. Forget about me and what I can do. I'm through with you. I am out.
The nondescript figure hangs up and pulls off the gas mask, revealing herself. Tabitha Potterson. She looks at herself in the rearview mirror, but has to look away. Then she starts the car with a grimace of pain and drives off. Perry ingratiated himself into my home for several nights, one after another, wanting answers. In a way, he reminded me of Lee, but I wouldn't budge. So he would just watch me as I shook my head in misery sitting on my bed, cold, dark seawater flooding into my home. He's there now. Perry's phone rings. It's Gil. He doesn't answer. Perry walks down the hallway using his cell phone flashlight. The house is shuddering. Spoons are rattling, water flooding in and wood creaking. He approaches the phantom third door that Christiane warned about. Perry cautiously opens the door. What he sees inside is indescribable. No floor, no walls, no ceiling, just a black void. It's not empty, it's vast, as if looking into the depths of space, a black hole. Perry's phone rings again. It's Jackie. He is slightly torn to answer, but the door suddenly shuts and disappears, almost as if the door rejected him.
Hello?
What the fuck are you doing in there?
Jackie is outside on her phone watching the Blackflower house.
I need to find her, Jackie.
Oh, by killing yourself? That place is like an active volcano. Your words. You gotta find another way.
Maybe this is an exit.
What?
The house turns on its side. Harry stumbles to right himself and looks to the master bedroom.
Motherfucker did not just hang up on me.
Jack, he's in a different place.
Perry re-enters my sideways bedroom. I defy gravity by sitting on my bed.
What's the third door?
I don't want to answer.
Talk to me!
Is it blood or the act.
Where did you die?
Here, paying for my sins.
What sins?
Too unbearable to confess.
Where were they committed?
On the Blackflower.
In Blackflower?
No. On the Blackflower. The ship.
Where were you headed?
Bermuda. To deliver our cargo.
What was your cargo?
Enough! I stand, and my house turns upside down. Paris stumbles, but I stand firm on the floor, now ceiling.
Get out!
Perry is thrust out of the room, and the door slams shut. Outside, Jackie rests against her police cruiser. Gil is nearby. They pass a flask back and forth while watching the house.
You're right. I've got terrible taste in men.
I don't know. This one? I think he might be a keeper.
You kidding me? He's still in love with his dead wife. That he still talks to, by the way.
Some people talk with their exes.
Not when they're dead.
So what's the problem? That he's got some issues with an ex, or that he can talk to the dead?
Gil, but that's a question. I'm done.
She hands the flask back to Gil and gets in her cruiser.
Jack, it's almost dawn. Why not wait and talk with him?
How many times you put him in there?
It's not like that. He wanted to go
How
in
many times?
since the beginning.
Jesus, Gil.
Don't give up on
You're
him.
part of the problem. It's either going to be false promises or avoidance. Yeah, I'm done with all that. I'm done with him. I don't need empty expectations.
You want me to give him a message?
Yeah, fuck him. I really liked this one. Gil, so fuck him. No. Wait. Yeah, tell him I'm glad we got to work through this together.
By the dim light of pre-dawn in Farshad's bedroom, Tabitha, dressed in normal clothes, sits on the side of the bed while Farshad sleeps soundly. She is toying with her poison's satanic ring and eventually takes it off with her left hand, tucking it under the mattress.
Farshad, wake up.
Everything okay?
Yes, I need a favor.
How's girls' night, Debbie?
Fine, I need a favor.
Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah.
Farshad!
She shakes him vigorously with her left hand. He rubs his eyes and looks at her. He sees her face is bruised and her shoulder is dislocated.
My God, Tabitha, what happened? Are you okay?
I need a favor.
Of course. Was there an accident? We should get you to the hospital.
No, that's part of the favor.
Who did this to you?
It doesn't matter. You need to trust me.
What happened?
Farshad, I'm in a lot of pain. I need for you to reset my shoulder.
I don't know how to do that. We need to get you to a doctor.
No! I need you now!
She picks up his hands and places them on her shoulder in particular positions.
Now press firmly. I know you know how to do that.
Tabby.
Press and thrust firmly and fast. I'll do the rest.
I don't know if I can do this.
If you love me, you can do this. Do it now!
He presses and thrusts and pops Tabitha's shoulder back into place.
Thank you.
Tell me what happened.
With tears of pain streaming her face, she lies down next to Farshad while he cuddles her.
This is the favor I ask of you. Never ask me about this night again. Forget it. It's done. Lost history. We can move on now. Let's set the date of our wedding and get married. I do not need to hide anymore. You've given my life meaning. You've given my life hope. You've given my life love. Love I only thought I understood before you. Please, Farshad. My love, please. Forget this night, and remember my undying love for you. That's the favor I ask.
Exhausted, Tabitha falls asleep in Farshad's arms. Meanwhile, he stays awake, contemplating what she has said.
Your lisp is gone. Matikti.
Gil sits in his wheelchair and watches the sunrise. The front door slowly opens. Perry, clothes drenched, stumbles out, pops his ears, and stands in the sun.
How'd it go? It's the same. It's just a cycle. 4 days repeating. Actually, it's more like 4 chunks of time repeating within 4 days. First day, nothing or very little. Second day, they capture you and throw you into the basement to work. Third day,
I know.
You have third day, rape, torture, murder. Fourth day, it's utter chaos.
What did the old man say?
I don't think he's going to talk to me anymore.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Is this a national threat?
I don't know. I suggest you just close it up and consider this block off limits.
Can we stop it? Can we learn from it?
Stop it? I doubt it. Learn from it. For what purpose?
The afterlife, untapped power, answers.
I suggest you just get some guards and just protect people from going in there and just leave it be. I'm done.
Perry!
Perry walks to his car.
You should talk to Jackie. She thinks you're not the man I know you to be.
You're probably both right.
Perry gets into his car and drives off. In death, time and space are relative. I can visit any time, any place I want. I can see Jackie crawl onto her futons, smelling Perry's sheets and crying. I can see Mrs. Potterson gazing at her dead husband's portrait, sipping tea while on the mantel sits a broken gavel. Mrs. Feinstein placing a box in a U-Haul truck. A sign in her front yard reads, "Sold." Mildred sits at a table with an unsolved jigsaw puzzle. A nurse hands her meds in a plastic cup. Gil on the Black House porch, talking into his cell phone. Mo, with razor in her one hand, contemplates suicide. Tabitha sleeps while Farshad dresses for work. Ms. Circle is entranced watching the video file from Xander Mars. And all the while, Perry walks into St. Ascalia Hospital where everyone there is stalled in time. He walks into Cheryl B's room, detaches her from the tubes and IVs and carries her out of the hospital. Perry didn't visit me for months and months after that. But now, as the sun sets on 1968 Blackflower Drive, my home, infested with wires, machines, military, and scientists, Gil wheels himself up to bearded Perry on the porch, who was there, hesitating, staring at the front doorknob.
What are you thinking?
What I should have done a year ago.
The third door?
Yep.
Just talk to the old man.
And if he ain't talking, the answers are behind that third door.
Maybe. Godspeed. We don't know what's in there. The few that have gone in never came back. Probes get destroyed, but I have faith that you might be the one to get through. Do me a favor, take these.
Gil offers up a weapon in each hand. A modified Apache revolver and a modified blunderbuss. There are wires, thin batteries, and unfamiliar tech attached to each gun.
What is this?
The Apache revolver is like a Swiss Army knife pistol, and the blunderbuss is like a mini shotgun. Take them.
I don't want to bring a weapon to a
Please.
Listen, if you bring a gun to a discussion, it sends the wrong message.
Then don't use them. Just take one with you as a precaution. You're not killing anything if it's already dead.
Bearded Perry shakes his head and grabs the modified blunderbuss.
Good. Good.
You know, When I was growing up watching TV, every time the hero would embark on a dangerous adventure, he always survived, always. He was a thing as a kid you could depend on. He may get injured, the episode might end with "to be continued," but he'd be okay. It's all gonna be all right in the end.
That's a good way to look at this.
But then something changed. Either the writers or the viewers, society or time, I don't know, but the heroes started dying.
Well, you've been dead so many times, I think you break precedents.
Right. I guess, yeah, I guess I was just wondering if there's something beyond the after.
Bearded Perry slowly opens the door and stares in. He turns to Gil and shakes his hand.
By the way, if I never see you again, it's nice now.
A sheriff's SUV rushes up, and soldiers aim their guns.
Stand down!
The soldiers lower their weapons. The driver emerges. It's Jackie, and she is very pregnant. She looks at Bearded Perry, wanting to speak.
I told you should have talked with her.
I can't go in there now.
It's too late, Perry, but now you have a reason to make it back.
Gil pushes Bearded Perry into the house and slams the door.
Shut it down.
This has been 1968 Blackflower Drive, starring Brian Dullaghan, Brittany Joyner, Brett Pearsons, Max Koch, Amy Procacci, Marypat Farrell, Sarah Atwood, Scott Conte, Douglas Sarine, Adam Sholder, Darcy Silveira, Mario Eduardo, Matt Kaminsky, Kevin Dorff, Joe Dungan, Diane Witter, Kara Ebensberger, Mathieu Aquino, Saahil Anand, Stefan Marks, Blaise Miller. Written and directed by Brett Pearsons. Executive producer, Sarah Pryzibilla. Original score and sound design, Brett Pearsons. Audio engineering, Sarah Pryzibilla. Special thanks for this episode to Geoff Dunbar. Final episode coming soon.